The Jesse Blake Sports Report with Jesse Blake.
The Buffalo Sabres could not be more embarrassing right now. Coming into tonight, they were on a 10-game winless streak. And Terry Pegula, the owner of the Sabres, met the team in Montreal ahead of their game against the Canadiens to give everybody there a pep talk. He said he believes in the general manager, Kevyn Adams, and what he's doing. He believes in the newly hired Lindy Ruff to head coach this team. And he believes in the players in this organization and that the group there can get it done. And how did the Buffalo Sabres respond? By getting a pep talk from the billionaire who owns their team. They responded by losing tonight against the Montreal Canadiens 6-1. And the way this game started, it literally could not have been worse because it took 19 seconds at the start of this game for the Buffalo Sabres to look awful on a play and to allow a goal to the Canadiens. What happened was 19 seconds into this game, Nicolas Aube-Kubel is about to pick up the puck a couple seconds into the game in the offensive zone. He then gets stripped by a charging Joel Armia, who takes the puck, gets it over to Heineman, who starts a breakout 2-on-1 against Owen Power, who gets completely embarrassed a couple times on this play and is swimming to start this game in the neutral zone. We get Jake Evans coming in behind to grab that puck and that pass from Heineman. He goes in behind Owen Power. And then we see Samuelson not be able to pick up Jake Evans, who has the puck. He sends it off the board, and then Owen Power can't collect the puck that bounces off of the boards. It's cleaned up by Armia, who started this whole play, and just like that, 19 seconds into the first game that the Buffalo Sabres played, after Terry Pegula had to give them a pep talk, they allow a goal. And from there, it only got worse. Patrik Laine, who, this isn't about the Montreal Canadiens, but could you imagine if Patrik Laine was on this team to start the year, how much better they'd be looking? Because Patrik Laine had a hat trick tonight, 3 goals on the power play. He scored his first of the night, at 6:26 of the first period to put the Canadiens up 2-0. And they didn't look back after that first goal in 19 seconds in. They go up 2-0 at the end of the first. Dylan Cousins gets a goal. It's like, okay, we're climbing back into this thing. And 2 minutes after that goal by Cousins, Juraj Slafkovsky pots one, and then Laine gets 2 more to complete the hat trick, and Josh Anderson closes it out late in the third with 45 seconds left to make it 6-1 for the Montreal Canadiens. It was a disaster game to move the Buffalo Sabres winless streak to 11 games. And now my question coming out of this is, because going into this, it's like, okay, Terry Pegula, you like what's going on here. You believe in everything. But when is it enough? When is there enough evidence out of this group of Buffalo Sabres for you to finally believe that this isn't working? Because for me, it's been enough. For me, there's enough evidence here to know that Kevyn Adams hasn't built a very good hockey team. And their goal for this season is simply make the playoffs. They're not in that Stanley Cup window where they need to be challenging for a Stanley Cup or go on a deep run or anything like that. They're in the middle of the longest playoff drought amongst any North American pro sports team in the 4 major sports. They're tied with the New York Jets for the longest playoff drought. The whole game here for the Sabres needs to be build a team that's just good enough, right? Squeak in, get in. Everybody is going to be happy with what you've accomplished, Kevyn Adams, if you simply build a low-grade playoff team. And as we sit here on December 17th, easing into the wee mornings of December 18th, the Buffalo Sabres currently sit last place in the Eastern Conference. This isn't a St. Louis Blues 2019 last place to first place situation. There's nothing in this lineup that has done anything at the National Hockey League level. The young kids that you have who've grown up in this Sabre system have only known losing. And then the barely any pieces that Kevyn Adams has acquired have not done anything since they've come to Buffalo. The core doesn't work. The mix isn't gonna mix. And Kevin Adams is responsible for building this team. And Terry Pegula looks at all the evidence of the Buffalo Sabres losing consistently under Kevin Adams and says that I believe in this team. I just don't understand where that faith comes from. Terry Pegula is blindly believing in an individual who has not accomplished anything. He's believing in a group of players who have never displayed anything. Right now, they sit 27th in goals against. They sit 22nd in goals for. There isn't much redeemable qualities to take away from this team. Even UPL, who's had some great hot stretches in his career, got pulled tonight. And that's not even like a beacon of hope in the distance. Devin Levi hasn't proven anything at the NHL level. If you go down the list of every young player they've brought in and drafted and who they want to develop into a star that can lead this team to the playoffs, there's no evidence that they're capable of doing that. And regurgitating the same thing year after year after year, day after day, isn't going to help anything in the situation. Some sort of change needs to come, and it needs to come from a general manager who's willing to do that change. And Kevin Adams proved this summer that he's not willing to make big swings, and he's not willing to spend the money that is apparently there for him to spend up to the cap limit. And Terry Pegula, I know you said that you believe in this team, you talked to all of them, and you said you believe in this team, but they're not good, and your faith in them doesn't make them then good. You trying to will them into a good team through simple belief doesn't make them a good team. Let's not do the internal hires. Let's bring somebody external who has different eyes than you, Terry, to evaluate this team and make some changes. Otherwise, just give the team to somebody else so they don't just let it flounder here in a mess, in a playoff drought, because Buffalo Sabres fans deserve better than this team that can't do anything right now. That's it for me right now. That's all I got to say on the Buffalo Sabres tonight, who are continuing to make a mess of everything and not win games. The fun thing, though, the Buffalo Sabres' next game is against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Something's got to give. The Toronto Maple Leafs love soul-crushing defeats that disappoint their fan base. And the Buffalo Sabres are on an 11-game winless streak. So hopefully these aren't the Toronto Maple Leafs of old, and they take care of business against Buffalo on, I believe, Friday. That game takes place. Anyways, that's it for me right now. I'll see you again here very soon. Thank you for being here. You could have been anywhere in the world. Chose to be watching or listening right now, and I appreciate you for that. Good night from Toronto.
And that is how it's done.
The Jesse Blake Sports Report with Jesse Blake.
Jesse Blake, the guy that likes to hear his name twice in one sentence. Sure, I know him. No, he doesn't have an ego at all.